Hello everybody, and welcome to my presentation for my assignment number 4, in a class that I'm taking at the University of Advancing Technology, uh, Master Science 539 Programming Concepts. For this assignment, I had to make a forms application that used array and lists and utilized at least 3 functions using strings, basically. Okay, so let's get into the code here. So if you look, I thought it was going to take me 2 hours. No. It actually took me a couple of days because of some scheduling issues. I had a couple of things going on, but the overall code took me about 3 hours to write and test. Um, so we're using pretty much all of the systems dots that we typically use, except I'm using input and output because we're actually going to save to a file. So what I did is I had to make a couple of global variables, some strings that are going to hold some numbers that are going to be an array, and a string called list binary, which we'll talk about in a second. So the first function I wrote was for a random binary generator. So my undergraduate degree is in robotics and embedded systems. And in robotics and embedded systems, we use the binary number system. Specifically, we use a lot of 8-bit binary translation. So we can turn on and off microcontrollers and such. So I thought it would be kind of neat to write a random binary generator and then be able to take the random binary 8-bit random binary that we make and translate that back into decimal, so we get a number of 0 to 255, which would be an 8-bit binary number, and then put it in a list box and then store it. So that's exactly what I did. So the first thing we did was we wrote a random number generator for binary. It's kind of neat because we make an array called binary, and we make that array have 8 places in it. So for each bit, 0 through 7 or 8 bits. So we can get a number from 0 to 255. And how I do it is I have I make the random number here, random, and then we basically it's like a flip of the coin. This next two is going to make a 0 or a 1. So the only random numbers we can have are 0 and 1. And in binary, that's what you got, zeros and ones. 0 kind of being off, 1 being flipped on. So how binary works is in powers of 2. If we have an 8-bit binary number, you start from left and read from left to right. Kind of like the Arabic language. And then each time a number is incremented to 1, it's a power of 2. So you'll have 0 or 1, 0 or 2, 0 or 4, 0 or 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and then if you add them all together, you can get 255. And my bird says hi. So what we do is we go through this for loop, and we randomize each position in the array to get a 0 or a 1. So in the end, it will spit out a binary number. However, remember, this is going to do right to left, right? So 0 is going to be on your left-hand side, and 7 is going to be on your right-hand side. So you got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Well, remember, we're reading binary, so we read binary just the opposite. So we have to convert that. And I'll show you how that does next. But so what we do is we get this random binary number, right? And then we print it out to a text box. Then we take that number and we say, okay, if we have a number in this position that equals 1, then we're going to add this to it, add that to it, add the next to it. So we can add 128 in position 7, 64 in position 6, and it keeps going down. So it'll go in reverse because remember, we're reading left to right. And that gets confusing I will show you an example of this in a minute. So just bear with me. So when we do that, we convert all of this binary back into a number that humans can read, and that's a good thing for us. Then we basically, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a list box so we can see how many random numbers we generate. And then basically we're going to print the last random number that was generated to an output file, to a file that we create called binary list. Just to save the last one, I just wanted to put it in there because I don't have a lot of experience working with files and stuff like that. So let's take a look at it, guys. Here we go. Let's start it up. Okay, so here's our 8-bit binary generator. If we press this button, we get our random binary. So remember, we read from left to right, right? So this 0 would be 0. This 1 would be 2. And then 0 would be 0, 0 would be 0. So this one would be 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and then 0 again. So we had that saved there, but if we convert it, you get 114, and if you were to do the math, you would do that, right? Okay, so let's create another one and see how it stores it in a binary list. And then we can convert that to see how it changes, because that's what this is going to equal to in human numbers. And we'll just keep doing it. So you can see that, right? Okay, so we're going to save this off. We hit the save button, and behind the scenes it'll save it to a file, and then we'll hit quit. So if we check the file right here, binary list, it will save off the last one that you've seen. I'm working on it still. I wanted to print out all of them, but I'm kind of out of time, so that's where I'm at. Anyway, I believe that's for the grade, guys. So have a great day.